Right, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on Warren's Team Talk. I hope you're having a really good day and enjoying yourself. Um, so I've just thought I'd come on and do this one. I know I haven't done one of these for a while, but yeah, I really do enjoy talking to you about this because it's all about my experiences of watching football all over the place. And sometimes it was most of the time when I've been going to watch football matches, it's been with Arsenal. And then also I've been around watching other matches as well, and Maidstone United. Sometimes I went with my mate who's a Norwich fan and went to watch them. So yeah, I've been all over the place watching football, and I just thought it'd be interesting to tell you all about it because I've had some really crazy experiences going to watch football, I can tell you. So yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm going to telling you about some games where I went to at Highbury to watch Arsenal outside of my normal run of the mill league matches, cup matches, and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you about a couple of visits to Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace and Charlton matches involving Arsenal. And then a couple of times that I've been to Carrow Road, and I'm also going to tell you about a game that I went there once to see Norwich when I think I was on holiday in the Norfolk Broads, I think, somewhere. And then also I'm going to tell you about a visit me and my mate made to Milton Keynes Dons. And yeah, that was interesting, definitely. And then a few trips that I've made to Ayresome Park, mostly to see Arsenal play. And Jesus Christ, that was hairy. I'm telling you, they at that time they certainly didn't like Arsenal up there. They really didn't. And then about the time that me and a couple of my mates we went over to Lens in France to see a World Cup match during World Cup '98, and that was an experience I'll never ever forget. It really was. It was incredible. Anyway, so let's get on with it. Um, Joanne Smith's in the chat. Hi, Joanne. I hope you're well. And she says, hello, Warren. Yeah, lovely to see you, Joanne. Thanks for coming in. And Joanne says, what a nice surprise. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do it, but I just thought, yeah, it's about time that I did this. And there wasn't much left that I had to do this morning to get it ready. So I thought, why not get it done? And Craig Malloy says, hi, Warren. Last night's stream was fire. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate, because it was great having them three on my channel. It really was. I really enjoyed it, but I was terrified. I have to tell you, I was absolutely terrified because it was a quiz, as you all know, and I've been working on that quiz for like 3-4 days, I think, and I was really worried that it was either going to be too easy or too hard, and I'd really piss them off. But yeah, but they seem to enjoy it, so that's the main thing. That was the main thing, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. The only disappointment for me was that I couldn't really chat with you lot in the chat because I was trying to do the ask the questions and stuff, and I knew there was a lot of questions. There was about 30 in total, and at one point it was nearly 60 questions, but I had to cut it right down. So yeah, but it was great. I really enjoyed it. So thanks for your kind words, Craig. And Joanne says it's liked and shared. Thank you, Joanne. And Norfolk is waiting for you to visit again. Yes, I will. I'll try and get up there one day soon, I promise. I don't know when, to be quite honest, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see, definitely. Because I did enjoy my trip up to Norfolk when I was on the Broads, going up and down the Broads on that little boat that we had, me and my mate, and yeah, it was pretty. I left my mark in Yarmouth Harbour. Another paintwork off the boat. Oh dear me, that was terrible. But yeah, that's a story for another day. Anyway, so let's get into it. So like I say, we got a few places. I'm going to talk about a few grounds I went to here and there. And Joanne says Arteta was getting his Spanish pants in a twist at the press conference. I haven't seen it, but I saw what you said about he got upset about someone asking him about Alba. So tough shit. You know, that's what happens when you treat people like shit. It comes back and bites you on the bum. So, you know, if you're going to hand the shit out, you need to expect to get it back. Simple as. Joanne says, hello, Craig. Yes, hello, Mr. Craig. Right, okay, so before we get started, everyone, please can I ask you to make sure you like, share, and subscribe. That would be really, really helpful. And yeah, before we get started, I also wanted to draw your attention to the fact that Jez Collins, the guy who was on my channel last night in the quiz, he's just set up a new YouTube channel. It's called Arsenal, the History and More. So please go and check that out. He's an absolutely fantastic guy, and what he doesn't know about Arsenal ain't worth knowing, really. And he's done one video already, which was about how Arsenal started, and it's absolutely superb, I have to say. The story about the woolen shirts is just incredible. I didn't know that at all, but yeah. So go and check that out. It's really, really interesting. And please go and make sure you subscribe to his channel, please, 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 because he's a top man. He really is. So anyway, let's move on and let's get on with this show. So the first game I want to talk to you about is the FA Youth Cup match between Arsenal and Maidstone United. Now, what happened with this? Arsenal played Maidstone United in an FA Youth Cup match. And basically what happened was that one of my best mates at the time, he was the groundsman at Maidstone United. And when Arsenal and Maidstone got paired together in the Youth Cup, the groundsman from Arsenal contacted Maidstone United and invited them up to Highbury to come and check out the facilities at Arsenal, and he gave him a tour around, and bless him, he knew that I was a massive Arsenal fan, so he asked me to go with him and accompany him, and I was able to go around and see it as well. And we got to see stuff that you wouldn't normally see, such as all the stuff to do with the way they maintain the pitch and the undersoil heating and stuff like that. And it was absolutely wild. The undersoil heating, man, it was just incredible. It's like, I don't know if any of you have been on an old diesel train, like back in the day when them like in the middle of the train they'd have like all the mechanics for the train and the engine and stuff like that. But it was something like that. There was like tubes and pipes going everywhere. It was absolutely fantastic, and I loved every single minute of it. Back to the game itself, Arsenal won the game by 2-0. And in the game, I remember there was a guy who went on to play for the Republic of Ireland. He was playing for Maidstone United. His name was Gary Breen. In the Arsenal team, I don't really remember who played for Arsenal in the youth team that day. But yeah, I remember it well because Gary Breen, he looked absolutely superb. He was like head and shoulders above anyone else on the pitch, in my opinion. And he looked so comfortable on the ball and stuff. But yeah, he went on to play for the Republic of Ireland. So yeah, that was Arsenal against Maidstone United in the FA Youth Cup, and Arsenal youth team won fairly comfortably by 2-0, albeit that Gary Breen had an outstanding game for Maidstone. So the next one I want to talk to you about is Arsenal against Doncaster Rovers. Now, this was the second leg of the Youth Cup final. The first leg that had been played at Doncaster, Arsenal won by 5-0, and Kevin Campbell was in the Arsenal youth team then. He hadn't broken into the first team, and he ran amok in the first leg. And that season, he was just scoring goals like for fun. I think he'd even scored more goals than what he had appearances. It was just ridiculous. I think he scored nearly 60-odd goals that season for the reserves. It was something crazy anyway. And Doncaster, when they came down for the second leg, they were so worried about Kevin Campbell that they had 3 players marking him. 3 players. It was crazy. Arsenal and Doncaster Rovers drew the second leg 1-1 because, in effect, the game was already run. But I remember Arsenal, they opened up the East Stand for people to come and watch the game. Obviously, we paid a reduced admission price for the game. But yeah, it was quite packed, actually, in the East Stand. I remember that. And yeah, Kevin Campbell was playing for the reserve team. And everyone was really excited to see him because, you know, we could see from the programmes and all the reports that he was banging in goals for fun for the youth team. And people were clamouring for him to get a call up for the first team. And yeah, I remember this game because he had 3 players. Like Doncaster Rovers youth team played. They played 3 players to mark him. It was just crazy. So yeah, that was Arsenal against Doncaster Rovers, and Arsenal won the game by 6-1 on aggregate. The next one was Lee Dixon's testimonial. And for this game, Arsenal played Real Madrid. And what a game it was. It was just incredible because the players, they all stood off each other. You know, they didn't put any challenges in or tackles. So you could really see the technical ability of the players. And Arsenal had, they played a really strong side in this game. They had David Schuker, they had Dennis Bergkamp. I think Henry played. Vieira was in the team. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It really was. We got some more chat. I'm just going to do these chats before we talk about this game some more because there's more to tell you about what happened that night. I can tell you. Craig Malloy says hello, Joanne, and Static says hey, Warren. Hi, Static. How are you? Nice to see you, mate. And Craig Malloy says, Warren, do you know if Delboy is doing a stream tonight? I'm not sure. I don't think he is because he's coming to London tomorrow to watch Arsenal in the Brighton match. So I'm not sure if he is because he's going. He's got to get up really early tomorrow morning. So I'm not sure. So just make sure you keep your notifications on. That's all I'd say about that. Craig says we could use Schuker right now. We certainly could. We could do with quite a lot of players that were in that team right now. Patrick Vieira could do for a nice start as well. Warren, sorry, we could use Schuker right now. We certainly could, mate. I wouldn't disagree. I absolutely loved David Schuker. He was fantastic. I remember watching him at Euro 96 and the way he destroyed Peter Schmeichel in that game was just unbelievable. When Croatia beat Denmark 3-0 and he lobbed Schmeichel, it was just unbelievable. And he nearly ruined Schmeichel's career. It took, I believe, Schmeichel at least a year to get over it. It was just unbelievable. And then the game against the Germans, it was one of the best bits of individual skill I think I've ever seen from a striker. The ball came to him in the penalty area, and somehow or another, he was in front of the German keeper. I can't even remember who the German keeper was, but it doesn't matter. He sort of rolled the ball to his right with his foot, sort of rolled his foot over the ball, and then just tapped it into the empty net. It was incredible. I don't know if that goal's on YouTube or not, but if it is, go and check it out, because what a goal it was. It was incredible the way that he just stroked the ball really casually with his foot. He just sort of rolled it with the underside of his boot and like put it into the empty net. It was incredible. What a striker that man was. He was just phenomenal. And then, Ron, have you heard of Sosa, this 17-year-old left back? Mate, I heard Lee Gunner like going in about it on his channel. I've never heard of the fella. And but I fully expect, as Lee said, that there'll be all these muppets coming out of the woodwork going, yes, I've been watching him all his career, this and that and this and that. It's bullshit, man. These people, they just make me laugh. They seem to go and watch every single league in every single country, at every single level, for youth level, fucking under 5 level, under 11 level, the full men's team and the ladies team, and they seem to know about every single player from the moment they're bloody born. It's just ridiculous. Warren, so true. However, Cedric will probably play left back again. Dear oh God. I just don't understand why you don't put Saka back there. I mean, because Saka did it before. He's played left back before for Arsenal. When I think it was when Unai Emery was here, and we played with a back three and 2 wing backs. So I don't know why you just don't do that. And then you could have Martinelli on the left-hand side of a 3-pronged attack, put Pepe on the right, and Lacazette in the middle. I mean, I know Lacazette's not really banging at the moment, but we've got to make sure that we shore up that bloody defence, really, to be honest. Yeah, we can't have Tavares playing there again. It's just crazy. He's gone. His head has gone. His head's gone, definitely. Anyway, back to this Real Madrid game. So Arsenal won the game by 3-1. And like I say, it was absolutely phenomenal because they weren't really tackling each other properly. You could really, really see the technical ability of the players, and they put a really good show on. And like I say, Arsenal won by 3-1. Arsenal scored their goals from Vieira, Bergkamp, and a guy called Maltz. He was a German lad who was playing for Arsenal at the time. And then Carrow scored one for Real Madrid. Now, the crazy thing about this game was like it was a testimonial, right? So it weren't that really serious. And I got a really, really, really dear friend of mine. She's from Madrid. She's like, fucking, you won't get a more Madrid person than her. She is fucking diehard Madrid, right? And I took her and her friend. She's another girl who's like real hardcore Madrid as well. And I took them to this game, and they came and they made these things called bocadillos for us all. Bocadillo is, if you don't know, it's like a baguette with Spanish omelette in it. And yeah, it was delicious. It's delicious, believe me, let me tell you. And So I thought, yeah, this is nice. Have lovely of them. That's really kind. So we went along. We watched the match. I could see that she was getting a bit agitated, like as the game wore on and they were getting beat. And like John Toshak was the manager at the time, right? And I tried to explain to her before that it's only a friendly. It doesn't matter what the score will be. It's just like a bit of a festival of football. So don't worry about it. And I just wanted her to see Highbury and see like the place that I'd spent a lot of my childhood at and stuff like that. So anyway, we went along. She was getting more and more agitated as the game wore on. And then at the end of the game, we went to go out and she just lost it. she had this bottle in her hand, right? And she started moving down. Where were we sat? I'm sure we were up in the West Stand upper, right? No, it was West Stand lower. And she started moving down. For some reason, John Toshak was standing on the touchline on the West Stand upper because, as you know, the dugouts are on in front of the East Stand. But for some reason, he was over in the West, in front of the West Stand, standing on the touchline. She started waving this bottle, albeit it was only a plastic bottle. She started waving this bottle and like shouting loads of abuse at him. And like all I remember, I kept saying to her, "It's all right, Elena, calm down, don't matter, it's fine." And it's only a friendly, it doesn't matter. And she started losing it. And she kept saying to me, "It's not acceptable. I don't care if it's a friendly or not. Real Madrid is Real Madrid and it's not acceptable." Right. I've spoken to her a few weeks ago about this because she claims that she doesn't remember it. That's what she claims. I do not remember it, Warren. And I said, well, and I think she feels a little bit embarrassed about it, bless her, but she's got no reason to me. And when she said, "Warren, I'm sorry about my hooliganism," I said, "Listen, as far as I was concerned, it wasn't hooliganism. It was just an elite mentality. I wish our supporters would have that sort of mentality." But it, I remember I had to physically restrain her from like going for John Toshak because I think if I hadn't have been there, she would have gone for him. I really do. Yeah, so that was the night we played Real Madrid in a like Lee Dixon's testimonial. Jesus Christ, what a night that was. Anyway, let's look at these chats. Warren, exactly. Saka was played left back and left wing back as well. Arteta has no tactical sense at all and never rotates the squad. Unbelievable. 100% static. And he should, because he's just going to burn these youngsters out. He really will. I mean, when George Graham was manager, what happened was when the likes of Rocky Rocastle and Mickey Thomas first came in the team, they would either start games and then get substituted near the end, or they would be on the substitute bench and then come on later in the game and slowly introduce themselves to the team and get rotated so that they didn't get burnt out. But this guy is, don't know. Excuse me. He just seems intent on them playing them as often as possible. And Static says, "I remember Mouts." Yeah, I really can't say that I remember him that well. I mean, obviously remember his name, but that's about it, really. Ryan, your friend should teach you how to make it. I know how to make it, mate. It's absolutely delicious. And I have it at least once a week. Hi, Taib says, "Hi, Warren, Craig, and Static." Hi, Taib. I hope you're well, mate. Taib says, "Hi, Joanne." And Static says, "Hi, Taib." And Craig Malloy says, "Hi, Taib. Big up." And Warren Facts, every game matters. It's the same for Arsenal. I went crazy every time we lost our pre-season games before the start of the season. And I remember people like, as you all know, I've got a strong affinity with Glasgow Celtic. And I remember lots of my friends telling me, listen, Celtic do not play friendlies. What? Like, no, they do not play friendlies. Every game is serious. So now I know what they mean. And she had the same sort of mentality about her Real Madrid, because where she lives in Madrid, it's about 5 minutes on the bus from the stadium. So yeah, it's wild, honestly. Del Boy Gunner TV. What's the crack? What's the bleeding story? If Arsenal lose tomorrow, Del Boy would turn the Emirates into a car park. He already is a fucking car park. Play to you, mate. And yeah, I fully expect you to run on the pitch and headbutt Mikel Arteta if we lose tomorrow. And Craig Malloy says, Del Boy, what's the bleeding crack, fella? Big up. And Taib says, if Arsenal lose tomorrow, then Del Boy will turn his beer glass into Arteta's underpants. Not that loud. The only problem is he'll probably find Julian in there while he's trying to do it. Warren, it's the same for Rangers too. Every game matters. Yeah, that's what it's like for proper football clubs. Like, it's, you have to. If you're a proper serious football club, then every game does matter. And that's why I said to her when she was like a bit embarrassed about her behaviour and whatnot, I said, listen, don't tell me that. Or I put it down just to having an elite mentality. That's all it is. So, yeah, let's move on. Let's forget about Real Madrid. Because my poor friend, she'll kill me. I'll be the one that gets the bottle next time, that's for sure. Right, so the next game, David O'Leary's testimonial. Celtic came to Highbury and they played in David O'Leary's testimonial. They won the game by 2-0, thanks to goals from Maurice Johnston and Alan McAnally in the last 10 minutes of the game. It was fantastic. I went to the game and it was crazy because I remember when I got to Charing Cross, right, and I went down to the underground, the tube pulled in and it was full of Celtic fans and they were singing and drinking and eating and they were just having a massive party. They weren't hurting anyone or like doing any damage. It was just like a massive party. And I saw all these like commuters and whatnot standing on the platform and none of them got on the tube. But I thought, fuck it, I'm getting on. I don't care. I think they thought it was like a load of bloody noisy Scotsmen and Irishmen on the tube. They just got terrified by it all. So they just didn't want to get on, but it was madness. Big up everyone. Real ones in the chat, says Del Boy Gunner. And yeah, everyone who hasn't subscribed to Del Boy, please go and check out his channel. Del Boy does excellent work on his channel. His Feckin' Egypt show is superb. I absolutely love it. The way he just calls people out about things that they've written, but he does it in a way that I find quite respectful. He doesn't mention people's names, but he calls people out, and it's fucking superb. It really is. And big up to Del Boy as well for coming on my channel last night and doing the quiz. What a fucking legend that man is. And I think he got a bit panicky when I asked the question about the first Latin team to win the European Cup, because he knew it was Celtic and he was worried about he was going to mess it up in case I went for him. But yeah, bless him. He got most of it right, bless him. So yeah, there you go. And Warren, I agree. I hate being told it's just a friendly. No, no, to me, it's not. Exactly, says Static. Warren, O'Leary looks so good in the Arsenal shirt. We really could use him right now. Mate, he could still play in our defence right now and be better than bloody Ben White. He could, I'm telling you. But on a more serious note, I would have him at Arsenal doing like the job that Edu does, or like really high up as a buffer between those clowns and the Cronky. So because he embodies what everything Arsenal's about. Him and Tony Adams, for me, are just like he is Arsenal. It's simple as that for me. David O'Leary is what Arsenal is. It's just, if you ask me to find a player for you that embodies everything that Arsenal's about, it's him, and also Tony Adams. So yeah, Del Boy Gunner TV, Dave O'Leary should be Arsenal chairman. Absolutely spot on, mate. I absolutely love the guy. He's an absolute legend. And he don't get 722 appearances for the club unless if you're crap. Let's put it that way. Absolute legend of a man. Taib said Warren was David O'Leary a striker or defender. Mate, he was a centre back. And I used to play centre back as well. And when my dad used to take me to go and watch the Arsenal, he used to say to me, Warren, watch what he does in the game. Watch how he plays. Watch what he does. All right? Because I learnt a lot from watching him play as a centre back. I really did. The way he controlled the whole back four. Like, they all used to stand on the line. I noticed when I was a kid, they would all stand on the halfway line when Arsenal were attacking, and then as the attacks broke up, they'd slowly go back in a line. Not sure you'd get away with that now, but yeah, back then it was a really effective way to defend, and because they never ever got caught out for pace. Because you had that defence, you had Pat Rice at right back, you had David O'Leary, Willie Young at centre back, and you had Sammy Nelson at left back. What a fucking defence that was! And then behind them, you'd have Pat Jennings. It's just, if they did get through, and the unlikely event, they would have to come up against Pat Jennings. Jesus Christ! Yeah. So anyway, there was all these Celtic fans in London for this game, and like, I saw stuff online on this website called the Celtic Wiki, and they said the attendance was 30,000. I reckon it was more like 40, 45, and I reckon there were about 30,000 Celtic fans at the game. They were at the whole of the clock end, and when it was terracing, they had thousands of fans in the East Stand. They had thousands of fans in the West Stand, and they also had some in the North Bank. Now, this behaviour about taking over other people's grounds, it's quite normal for them to do that in Scotland. Like, say, for example, they went to play, I don't know, Motherwell or whatever. What would happen is when they went to Motherwell, because Motherwell would know they were going to bring so many supporters, they would like only have one end for the home support. So their Motherwell fans would only be allowed into one end of the ground, and the Celtic fans would be in the other three parts of the ground, just because of this, because of the money, because they knew it was a big payday for them when Celtic and Rangers came to town, and it would help the club to survive. And if they hadn't done it that way, they probably would have folded most of these clubs, because they weren't financially viable without Celtic and Rangers there, which is why I don't want Celtic and Rangers to come and play in the Premier League, because it will kill Scottish football. They would have to become like an amateur league, and not be like it is now. I just don't think it would be financially viable if Celtic and Rangers left the Scottish League and joined the English. I just don't think it would. So Celtic won the game 2-0. At the end of the game, David O'Leary went and did a lap of honour around the pitch. And he did that with his brother, Pierce. That's the guy that David O'Leary stood with in that picture. He stood next to his brother, Pierce O'Leary. Del Boy Gunner will know about Pierce O'Leary. And, they were brothers. And they did a lap of honour around the pitch. And I'm not joking when I say, because I stayed right till the end after the game to watch all this carry on. David O'Leary, it took him twice as long to get the length of the clock end where all the most of the Celtic fans were, as it did all the rest of the ground. It was just unbelievable. It was an incredible night, fantastic atmosphere. The fans, it was like a massive party. It was great. It was an absolutely fantastic evening, and I absolutely loved it. Del Boy Gunner says, defender, Taib. And Warren, I have to go. Great show. See you later, Static. Thanks very much for coming in. It's lovely to see you. And Taib says, thanks, Del Boy. And bye, Static, says Del Boy Gunner. Bye, Static, says Taib. And Static says, hey, man, take care as well. Good luck for tomorrow. You're going to need it. It's going to be boring. Ha, ha, ha. Have fun. Oh, Jesus, oh, poor guy. Taib is saying, take care, man. So, let's move on to the next one. Yeah, because that was a great night. I loved every minute of that. And then the next one, Charlton against Arsenal on the 3rd of October 1987. At the time, I was with a girl, a Scottish girl who was a Rangers fan, believe it or not. And I'd stayed the night at her place the night before. We'd been out drinking all night, having a great time, and the two of us got really well together. Absolutely lovely woman. I loved it at bits. And I said, right, I'm going to go and watch the Arsenal, because they were playing just up the road from where she lived, because she lived near Selhurst Park in southeast London. In fact, she could hear the fans when they were playing at home, when either Charlton were playing at home or Palace were playing at home. Anyway, Arsenal were coming to town. And I went to the game. But I wasn't at the game. I wasn't in the ground very long. Let's put it like that. Basically, what happened was in the early part of the game, let's just say the referee was being a bit aggressive with the dishing out of his cards, shall we say, and most of it seemed to be aimed at Arsenal. And he booked Michael Thomas. He booked Rocky. I think Paul Davies played in the game, I think, as well, and he booked him. And I got fed up with it. And I questioned whether the referee was a racist or not. I said, what's the matter with you, ref? Are you racist or what? And next thing you know, this copper, and how the hell he managed to do it, he grabbed hold of me by the scruff of the neck and like yanked me up. And I wasn't a small guy. I was about 6 foot, probably about 13 stone, something like that. So it wouldn't have been small. He picked me up by the scruff of the neck, dragged me to the back, and I got taken to this little room. I had to have my photo taken, and the particulars taken and all that, and then got escorted out of the ground. So within about 20 minutes of leaving my friend's house, I was back there again, and she said to me, what are you doing? Well, why aren't you at the match? And I told her, and she just laughed at me. She goes, "Yeah, you hooligan." It was crazy, absolutely crazy. And Taib says, "What football team loves ice cream?" Aston Vanilla. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, mate, that's a corker. I absolutely love it. Mate, your jokes are just incredible. Yeah, so that was the Charlton game. And needless to say, I didn't really get to see much of the match. So, yeah, and I got ribbed something chronic by my friend all for the rest of the day. Then another time I went to Selhurst Park. That was in, I think, the 1978 season. I think it was. I was a lot younger then. Obviously, I think it was about 11. And I went with an old friend of mine I was at secondary school with, and we were in the same class together, and it was in first year at secondary school, I think. And his mum took us to the game because what had been happening is that my dad had started taking him along with us to watch Arsenal, and we went to Palace, and we were stood in the they had this like seating enclosure, like in the upper tier and the lower tier. It was all terracing, just like it is in that picture. And when you looked out to the right, you'd see this famous terrace called the White Wall. And what it was, like halfway up the terrace, there was this like massive white wall that fans would be able to, that separated the bottom part of the terrace to the lower part of the terrace. And so that was why it was called the White Wall. And yeah, so anyway, we were in this enclosure in front of the like seating area, and Arsenal lost the game by 1-0. Dave Swindlehurst scored. Now, as far as I remember it, what happened was that Palace had this corner. I think it got punched out by the Arsenal goalkeeper, who would have been possibly Pat Jennings, I think. And Dave Swindlehurst fell over in the penalty area. Someone took a shot from outside the box, and it looped up off Dave Swindlehurst's head as he was laying on the ground and went into the goal. So Palace scored, their fans went nuts, and Arsenal lost the game by 1-0. So, yeah, that was my experiences of Selhurst Park. I'm not the best of places for me to go, I can assure you. One, because I never got to see the game properly, and the other one because, we lost. Another ground I went to was Carrow Road to watch Norwich play Arsenal. One of my best mates, Mick, he's a massive Norwich fan, and we went up to the game together, and he took me into this pub that he'd go to for games, and we had lunch together in the pub. It was lovely, really, really nice. Had a good bit of banter with the fans in there, and good old natter, lovely group of lads. And then we went to the game, and this was 13th of December 1986, and I think this was George Graham's first season in charge. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, and Martin Hayes took a penalty. And I'm pretty sure this was the game where Martin Hayes had to take the penalty twice because of encroachment or something like that. He took the penalty and he scored, and then the referee made him take it again, but he still scored. So thank God for that. And the guy by the name of Kevin Drinkle equalised for Norwich. And my mate was in the Norwich end and I was in the Arsenal end, and it was great day, and we really enjoyed it. But yeah, but it was a really fiercely contested match. Norwich in those days were a much better side than what they are now. They had a reputation for playing really good, open, attractive football, and they gave Arsenal a really hard game. They really did. So they ended Norwich 1, Arsenal 1. Then me and my mate, Mick, the Norwich fan, we went to see Milton Keynes Dons play Norwich City on a Monday night in 2009 at the MK Stadium MK in Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes Dons, who became Milton Keynes Dons. Basically, what happened, they used to be Wimbledon, the Wimbledon that won the FA Cup. They ended up selling their ground and then moving to Milton Keynes, and they changed their name and became Milton Keynes Dons. And they were playing Norwich in, I think it was, a League One game. And Norwich were dreadful that night. They took an early lead, right at the beginning of the game, and then they just didn't perform. And they lost the game by 2-1. And I remember my mate after the game, I don't think I've ever seen him so angry. He was absolutely furious. And I don't blame him, because they were really, really poor. So, got some more chats here. Dan Evans says hello. Hi, Dan. How are you? I hope you're well, mate. And Ty says, what team do Carrow support? Stake City. And there you go. He's on top form today. Ty. Hello, Dan, says Ty. Dan says, keep those jokes going, Ty. They're funny. They are definitely hilarious. Ty says, laugh out loud, Dan. And big up, Warren, enjoying your stories. Thank you, said, why not Spursy, Mick Arteta. You've changed your name, fella. Why not Spursy, Mick Arteta? Nice one, I like it. And then Taib says, what team do Sheep support? Woolwich City. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, Taib, you're an absolute cracker. You are, really. And why not Spursy says, big up, Taib. All good. And then Taib says, big up sentiment. Right. So let's move on. Yes, my mate Mick, he was furious. Poor guy. But I don't blame him. It was shocking. It really was. Right. So let's talk about Ayresome Park now. I've been there at least 3 different occasions, and I'm going to tell you about them now. The first time I went was for an FA Cup match between Arsenal and Middlesbrough on the 7th of January 1984. And for some reason, Middlesbrough fans do not like Arsenal. And to this day, I still don't know why. I really don't understand what the problem is with Arsenal. But they don't like us for some reason. And the late, great, Brian Clough, he was from Middlesbrough, and he couldn't stand Arsenal either. So it must be something that's really deep-rooted and goes back generations. It must be. I suspect it's something from the early days, and something must have happened in a match between Arsenal and Middlesbrough to spark it off, because it just don't make any sense. It doesn't. I've looked at Arsenal's history, and I've tried to Google it as well, and I can't find out what it is. So any Middlesbrough fans that are watching this, if you know what it is about Arsenal that Middlesbrough fans don't like, I'm not so sure it's as bad now as it used to be, but if you know what the history is behind this hatred of Arsenal, please tell me, because I really like to know. I'm not because I want to banter anyone or like have a go or whatnot. I just want to know. I'm just curious about what it's all about. So anyway, I went up to this match with my neighbours who were all from Middlesbrough. Absolutely lovely people, wicked sense of humour as well. Really cutting, like dry sense of humour. Absolutely hilarious. So I went up with them. We went up in their car before the game. One of my neighbour's boyfriends, who was from Middlesbrough, we went to see his gran. She made me a cup of tea, bless her, and I didn't like to say anything about the fact that I don't like tea. So I just sat there drinking it. It was absolutely disgusting. Not because she did it badly or anything like that, but I just don't like tea. I can't stand it. But I drank it just to be polite. And then after we finished visiting her, we went to this pub near the ground, and it's well known as being a real hardcore Middlesbrough fans pub. And I think it's called the Yellow Rose or something like that. I really can't remember though. And we went in there, and these people I was with said to me, Warren, when we get in this pub, whatever you do, don't fucking say anything. Because if you do, they might turn on you. I was thinking, Jesus Christ, what am I going into? So we got in there, and we was only in there like 5-10 minutes, and one of my neighbour, the boyfriend of one of my neighbours, he decided he was going to get the drinks in, and he said to one of the girls we were with, ask Warren what he wants to drink, please. I was 17, I think, at the time this game was played. And they said to me, they turned around, and like this girl, Karen, who was one of my neighbours, she said to me, Warren, what do you want to drink? And I was, Jesus Christ. You just told me not to fucking say anything, and now you're asking me what I want to drink. So I told them, and then the next thing you know, this fucking huge Middlesbrough fan, he must have been about 6'4", something like that. I heard him say, hey up lads, watch out, there's a fucking cockney behind me. And I thought, oh, here we go, that's it, I'm fucking done for. And he turned around to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and said, listen, son, it's fine, don't worry, you're just a young lad. He said, but whatever you do, don't go down that end of the pub, because if you do and they hear you talking, they'll fucking rip your head off. So just stay here with us and you'll be fine. So that's what happened. I stayed there with them. They were lovely, really nice to me. We had a bit of banter and whatnot. But yeah, it was fine. Anyway, Arsenal lost the game by 3-0. Arsenal's goals that day were scored by Graham Ricks and Charlie Nicholas. Charlie's goal, I still remember it to this day. He was out on the left-hand side of the pitch, and he slapped it in from about 25 yards, I think, into the bottom other corner of the net. It was an absolutely screamer of a goal to make it 2-2. And then right near the end, Middlesbrough got the winner. Deservedly so as well, because they absolutely battered us. They did. They absolutely battered Arsenal that day, and they won the game by 3-2. And the ground was absolutely rocking. The Borough fans were loving it. The next time I went was a couple of weeks later, actually. I went with my neighbours up to see the 4th round match between Middlesbrough and Bournemouth. Because of the fact I was 17 at the time, my mum wouldn't let me go to football on my own. Because I was too young. So my neighbours took pity on me and allowed me to go and watch football with them, which was nice of them. So we went to this 4th round match. Middlesbrough, the ground when we got there was absolutely rocking. The place was packed to the rafters. And Middlesbrough won by 2-0, and they played really well that night. And before the game, I was lucky enough to meet Malcolm Allison, which was a great moment for me. He was lovely, really, really lovely guy. I really enjoyed meeting him. And yeah, he gave me a bit of stick for being an Arsenal fan. I remember that. But yeah, no, it was really lovely. It was great to meet him, and we had a nice little chat. So that was great. And then the next time was on the 6th of March, about 5 years later, the next time I went. But this time I went on my own. Well, I went with the Arsenal Travel Club to see Middlesbrough play Arsenal at Ayresome Park. And in this game, when we got to Middlesbrough and we went up on the train, a special train, and when we got to Middlesbrough, they took us on these buses, these old dilapidated old double-decker buses from the railway station to the ground. And when we got like within spitting distance of the ground, all these Middlesbrough fans just fucking descended on us, and they were like punching the windows and spitting at the buses, trying to kick the bus, punch the windows. They were going nuts. They were like, one guy was literally frothing at the mouth. Anyway, so we got in the ground, because I think there was some coppers on the bus as well, and they were like radioing ahead and saying stuff. I can't remember what it was they were saying, but I remember there was some coppers on the bus as well. And we got to the ground, and thankfully the windows never went in and people didn't get hurt and stuff like that. Anyway, we got to the ground, we got inside the ground. The Borough fans were still frothing at the mouth and jumping up and down, and they were throwing stuff at us. It was looked like jacket potatoes or rocks or something. I don't know what it was, but they had razor blades in them and stuff like that. And it was Arsenal's last away, apart from the game at Anfield, it was Arsenal's last scheduled away game of the season. So for this game, we all went to the game in fancy dress. Don't ask me what I went in, because I can't even bloody remember. I just remember it was fancy dress. And Arsenal won the game by 1-0. And it was scored in the 69th minute by Martin Hayes. And we went nuts. We went absolutely nuts, because at that stage of that season, Arsenal was starting to wobble in the title race. And if we hadn't have won that game, we could have effectively knocked ourselves out of the title race. But we won it by 1-0. George Graham obviously was the manager at the time. And it was the famous old 1-0 to the Arsenal. And yeah, Martin Hayes did the business for us, and we won the game by 1-0. Fantastic. Good old oops-a-daisy Martin Hayes. So yeah, brilliant stuff. And then one year, 1998, the FIFA World Cup, I went with about 4 mates of mine. We went to the World Cup in France, and we were lucky enough to get tickets for the match between Croatia and Jamaica, which was played, luckily enough, in Lens in northern France. Now, Lens is an unbelievable place. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's really, really close to Kent. And so much so that me and my mates, we worked out that we would be able to get to Lens, and it was nearer for us to go to Lens to watch football than it was to go to London. And while we were there, we met some Lens fans, and we were chatting to them, and they were telling us about how cheap it was to go to football there. And it wasn't like just a couple of quid either. It was a lot cheaper, like to go and watch Lens play. And at the time, they were playing in the top league in France as well, and doing quite well. And so they were in the top league, doing really well. And they said, yeah, you can get tickets here for matches, no problem. Even Champions League, it's not a problem. And they also told, because they knew we were all from Kent, they told us that there was a supporters club who were all based in Kent that used to go and watch Lons. So I found that unbelievable. It was incredible. Anyway, so the game itself, there were obviously thousands of fans from Croatia and Jamaica. Croatia won the game by 3-1. Oh, what a team that team was. They had Robert Prozinecki, they had David Shuka, they had Zvonimir Boban, they had Alosios Osanovic, they had Igor Stimac, they had the other guy who was centre back who used to play, Slavan Bilic, Robert Yarni. What a team it was. And they could easily won the World Cup that year. They really could have done. They were superb, absolutely superb side. And they won by 3-1 through Stanic, Prozinecki and Shuka. And you can actually see clips of this match on YouTube. And on the YouTube clips that you can see, me and my mates, we had a flag, like a Kent flag, which is like a white horse, and it's on a red background, and you can see it quite clearly. I'm going to try and find the link for that YouTube video, and I'm going to put it in the description. Because you can see the flag quite easily, and it's on display when Prozinecki scores his goal to make it 2-1 to Croatia. But it was fantastic, and actually I've clipped a picture of the moment he scores that goal so that you can see the flag, which I'm going to show you in a sec. So here it is, and you see that red arrow is pointing to the Kent flag, and you can see like a red thing in the corner there just above that Adidas sign, and there's a white horse, and it's a lot easier to see in the video, but there you can see Prozinecki is about to take the free kick and to make it 2-1 to Croatia. And in the top left-hand corner there's a picture of the Kent flag as well. So, what a great day out that was. And then afterwards, there was a massive street party, and it went on. There was a party all around the game, and it started about lunchtime, and it didn't finish until the early hours of the next morning. It was just a madness. There was all these fellas there from Jamaica. They had this mad sound system, and the Croatian people were all dancing, and it was just a massive festival of football, and it was one of the best atmospheres I think I've ever been in at a football match. It was absolutely superb. And you see the crowd there where that McDonald's sign is. I was stood in that little section there, and I'm not sure, I think I can see myself, but you wouldn't. The only reason I can see myself is because I know whereabouts we were stood, and so there's no point me pointing out to you because you won't really see anything. But so we were sat in that enclosure just above that McDonald's sign, which is next to the Casio sign, in between the Casio sign and the Braun sign. So another great day out, another great adventure on the road for me, watching football. And it was fantastic. I loved every single minute of it. So, let's see what these chats are saying. And why not Spursy? Mick Arteta. Super Mick Arteta, they're taking the piss. I have to correct their mistake. He's not super, he's Spursy. Proper bottle job, reminiscent of Moyes. Yeah, well, he is a wee bit, but that would probably account for the fact that he played under David Moyes would probably account for it, because he seems to have a similar outlook on football as what Moisey did, in my opinion. So that's episode 12 of my Groundhopper Diaries, guys. I hope you really all enjoyed that. It's a great days out watching football. Don't forget to go and subscribe to Del Boy Gunners TV's channel, and also Jez Collins' new channel. It's called Arsenal, The History and More. He's already uploaded one video, but go and show him some love and support the fella, because he's an absolute diamond of a fella. He really is a lovely guy. And what he doesn't know about the club ain't worth knowing it. And everyone's going to learn stuff from watching that channel. I'm absolutely certain of that. I loved the first video he put out. Lots of really interesting stories and whatnot. So, yeah, go and check it out. Make sure as well you go and check out The Old School Gunner and Drawn by Dre and Arsenal Alex, The Aussie Gooner, Diesel Arsenal, and Northside London, Gracie May, all these channels, all the links to these channels are in the description of the video. So please go and check them out and show them some love and give them a subscribe and whatnot. I'll be back tomorrow, guys, to do my Matchday live show. I'll be starting at 2:40. One of the games we'll be covering, everyone, is the Arsenal Brighton match. So that'll be a laugh. Oh my God, I hate it when the Arsenal kick off at 3:00, because I get so stressed. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So yeah, come and check that out. I'll be on from 2:40 tomorrow, and also, what else was I going to tell you? There was something else I wanted to tell you, but I can't remember what it is. Anyway, not to worry, it can't be really important. Yeah, please make sure you keep talking to each other. Make sure as well that you show some love and kindness around the world and support each other and look after your family, your loved ones and your friends, because God only knows we need it at the moment. And yeah, be good. Have a great rest of your day. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Not this Tuesday coming, but the Tuesday after, I'll be on Diesel Arsenal's channel again, and on this occasion, I'm going to be talking about the Bob Lazar story and Area 51. So anyone who's sort of interested in that sort of stuff, come and check it out, because it's going to be amazing. It's a huge story there. Yeah, so please come and check it out. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Come and check me out tomorrow, and we'll have a good laugh tomorrow on the Matchday Live. Take care of yourselves. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks very much for tuning in for this one. And thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you all again really soon.